Before we start, this is agreeing to disagree, the Chuck and Brad podcast.
Yes.
I'm Chuck.
This is Brad.
Brad, I want you to do what you just did. I want you to tell him. I said, Brad, are you ready? And he goes up to the microphone. What did you say?
Pizza, perpetrate, pusillanimous.
Pusillanimous.
I don't really know what it means. To be honest,
don't really know what it means?
I'm pretty sure Calvin used it in a Calvin and Hobbes That's where I get most of my vocabulary lessons, from old Calvin and Hobbes comics.
Pusillanimous means kind of cowardly, is what it means.
Oh, all right.
Which is that where the word pussy comes from? To call someone a pussy.
I guess it could.
I would think that'd be because it is P-U-S-S-I.
Right.
And so it means the same thing.
Is it? Are you sure there's two? I thought it was one. I honestly don't know.
We have to get that checked.
Yeah, call that kid who fainted at the National Spelling Bee a couple years ago.
Who's that?
I don't know, some little kid.
He fainted?
Yeah, I was close to the National Spelling Bee in 7th and 8th grade. I got second place in our regional bee.
Right.
And almost went.
And you want to faint.
And that is why I will never again misspell the words subconscious or catastrophic.
Catastrophic's not even that hard.
No, it's not.
What grade were you in?
8th.
Wow, catastrophic.
I think I put an O where there needed to be an A, and then
catastrophic.
Actually, in 6th grade, I missed the word "it's." Mm-hmm. They used it in a sentence, and I just didn't know the rule about apostrophes,
right.
And so I put an apostrophe in it, and there didn't need to be one. And I
struggle with that. I'm not even kidding.
I went out, and my dad was there. I was in 6th grade. I was crying. I'm a big crier, and like one of the urinals in the Munster High School bathroom would not stop flushing. So I wipe my face with a paper towel, wipe my nose, whatever, and just like hurled it into the ever flushing urinal and left.
Right.
Unbeknownst to me, my mom had arrived to watch me compete, which I claim is bad luck. And she was there talking with the coach, one of the English teachers from school. And my mom's like, "Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. As we were standing out in the lobby talking, water started coming out of the men's bathroom."
Because you cried so much.
Pretty much.
No, it's because you threw the thing in there.
Yes, because I clogged the urinal. I clogged the urinal, and like I didn't, my dad and I left right after that, and so when my mom got home like half an hour later, she's like, "Yeah, they had to call in somebody and everything." I'm like, "Mom, that was me."
That's a good expression of rage.
I hope the statute of limitations has run out on flooding high schools.
You're gonna get arrested tomorrow.
I'm gonna get arrested for something that I did 18 and a half years ago. We are continuing our discussion of the Brammies and Jammies.
2008 edition.
Yes, the Baker's Year 2008.
We really miscalculated how long it would take.
That's correct, yes. We thought we'd be done with everything in about 45 minutes.
Yes, everything. And we got through probably 1/3 of it in about an hour.
Yes.
Last week. But that was very specific. Movies is kind of probably our forte, where we'd like to talk the most.
Right.
So I think this is going to go a lot faster.
Right. I don't know anything about music, so...
Brad knows more about current music than I do. I'll say that. That's the truth.
I actually haven't listened to a radio in a long time.
Neither have I.
All right.
So we're going to start with music.
Favorite song?
Go ahead, Brad.
The song Better Things by the Bouncing Souls. And here's probably my caveat that, this isn't necessarily stuff that was released in 2008. It's stuff I heard for the first time in 2008.
Right.
The web service Pandora.com, you type in an artist and it plays you music by that artist and by similar artists.
Right.
And so as I type in, of course I start with Pearl Jam and then work my way through a lot of punk bands in there. And so one of the songs that was similar to what I liked was the song Better Things by the Bouncing Souls, and it's a very uplifting punk song, very catchy, and and because of that, I got into other songs by the Bouncing Souls, and I really enjoy it. So I recommend that you legally download that as soon as possible.
All right. My favorite song of 2008, "So What" by Pink.
Really?
I thought that song was infectious. I thought it was a lot of fun. When I first came out, I didn't like it.
Right.
And I still have to say I don't like that her vocal melody is exactly the same as what the guitar's doing the entire time.
Yeah.
But I love the chorus and I love the breakdown. It gets me going. I thought it was great.
That is a
good one to Pink.
A very catchy song.
It is a very catchy song.
Is Pink single again? I honestly don't know anything.
That song
I don't know much about her.
That song is all about her, and she's like, "I guess I just lost my husband. I don't know where he went." It's about how she's gonna drink through a depression.
Right.
But the husband is in the video, being like, "I hate you," like it's all a joke, like it's not real.
I want to say that he was a BMX rider or a motocross rider or something. Oh, Corey Hart?
Corey Hart.
Okay.
He was on Surreal Life.
Got it.
But yeah, I never was really attracted to Pink that much.
Nope.
It's all right. I'm not big on the short hairstyle.
I think she's funny in that Stupid Girl video that she released a couple years ago. I really enjoyed that video.
Yeah, I think that she does some good pop stuff.
Yeah.
I really enjoy pop music. But I wanted to cover. So with Senior Discount, Alan Sousa was behind me. The Teej, Tom Wells, and Christian Staten, not so much.
The Teej is threatened by women.
I think that's why. That's why.
Yes. I put favorite song to get me psyched up for improv.
For me, that'd be favorite song to get me psyched up for a Senior Discount show.
Yes.
I would guess it would translate to.
Yes. For me, the song is Smiley Face by Gnarls Barkley. It's not music that I would normally seek out on my own. It was introduced to me by our good friends Sousa and Casey. Mm-hmm. And, I think they called it like the robot cats or laser cats because you hear a little meow, meow. That's part of the effects that are used. And, it puts me in a good mood. It gets my energy up, gets me bouncing around, and gets me ready to take the stage. The honorable mention would be No One by Alicia Keys, which you don't consider like a funny song.
Yeah.
But we went to the Funny or Die tour back in February, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And Will Ferrell and Zach Galifianakis and Nick Swartzen and everyone, Dimitri Martin and everyone, they came out and they sang No One by Alicia Keys. And we download it and we would jam to it on the way to shows.
Right. And actually, little side note, for Valentine's Day last year,
right,
I recorded myself doing a acoustic and piano and keyboard version of No One with me singing.
Wow.
And it's a really hard song to sing.
I want to say Funny or Die was like 3 days before Valentine's Day last year. But I mean, it was that week.
Yes. And I recorded it, and I haven't shown a lot of people because it's kind of like a weird song for me to do. And I sang kind of low because, it's hard to sing.
Right.
But I showed Tom Wells because, we compare just recording sounds.
Right.
We record different acoustic things. And he thinks it's one of the best things I've ever done.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I keep it a secret. My songs that get me psyched up for the discount shows. Early Blink-182, Cheshire Cat, Dude Ranch.
Right.
Even even the pop stuff like the Enema of the State and Take Off Your Pants and Jacket, which I love.
Right.
I think I listen to all that stuff more because I sing kind of in the same range that Mark Hoppus sings in.
Right.
And I do it more to get my voice opened up and warmed up.
Right.
And because I feel like it is a little bit energetic, and that's what gets me going for the shows.
I hered the song All the Small Things today,
yes.
and other people love it. For me, that was not my favorite song on Enema of the State.
I do not like All the Small Things very much at all.
I really enjoyed What's My Age Again because I feel like it's very appropriate for me.
Absolutely.
Because I'm often very immature.
Yes.
So
it has a lot of good guitar stuff in it.
Yes.
It's really good.
So yeah.
All the Small Things, not so much.
Not
I completely agree.
All right. Awesome.
I added this. I think I told you.
By the way, I'd also like to add the song Firewoman by The Cult.
I don't even know that song.
Totally gets me psyched up for anything.
Okay.
There's
you know what song gets me going? Dun, 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 dun. What's it called? Y'all ready for this?
Yes.
That song gets me psyched up too.
It should.
As I think that was the purpose.
Right.
I added this to the list. I think I told you. Favorite single influenced by someone's sexiness and vice versa. Now, when you're saying and vice versa, what do you mean? I also mean that their sexiness is influenced by the single.
Got it.
Now, for me, that song is The Last Thing on Your Mind by Lights, which I don't think you know as a song.
Did you describe Lights to me as the queen of sexy?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Something specific that you talked about in your blog. And something about the way that she sings the song that's very sexy with her voice. And then, of course, the girl is very cute and attractive. And I think the song is awesome. Even if I saw who sang it and it was an incredibly ugly, disgusting woman.
Right.
I would still think the song is awesome, and I really enjoy it. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay.
So if you like Lights, go to myspace.com/lights. I don't know if that's right. Go to MySpace and search for Lights, then you'll find her.
Yes.
She's just one girl with a keyboard. And I found the song from a shampoo commercial, I believe.
Interesting.
Yeah. Very weird. Or maybe like a Gap commercial or American Eagle. Some sort of commercial for something that's a product that I don't use.
Right.
Yes, there you go. So move on.
I'm sorry, did you just say you didn't use shampoo?
Let's move on, Brad.
Okay. Favorite music that I should have discovered long ago. As I've said, I don't really listen to the radio.
Right.
I'm often mocked for the amount of pop punk compilations I have.
Yes.
And Chuck mentioned the band against me, and Sousa had worn their shirts and had talked about them, and I guess I've had them on several pop punk type compilations, but Chuck put like 30 of their MP3s on a CD, and because I'm lazy, I just put it in my drive in my office and listen to it while I work, and just really have grown to love those songs.
Absolutely. I feel the same way. I don't feel like I jumped on them too late,
right,
but definitely after the songs originally came out from like Eternal Cowboy,
right,
and their first few CDs. And yeah, I feel the same way.
Like I really feel like Thrash Unreal is a great song. And was one of my votes for the name of the podcast at one point.
That's true.
Until I realized that people would think, "Oh, it's an Against Me podcast," and then I'd be like, "Yes, their lead singer Tom Dable." Like, "No, it's Gable." Like,
turn it off.
Yes.
My favorite music I should have discovered long ago: the Chipmunks cover of the Time Warp. Have you listened to it?
No.
Recently, listen. One of my favorite all-time cartoon movies is The Chipmunk Adventure, where the Chipmunks go against the Chipettes around the world.
Any special mention about a Chipette?
I told Brad I'm very attracted sexually to Brittany the Chipette, and Brad assured me that bestiality and pedophilia cancel each other out, so I'm okay.
Yes, that's what I assured you of.
Yeah, that's what I remember. The fat one's hot too. Eleanor, I think her name is. I couldn't think of it last night. I was trying to. Of course, I was talking about this last night as well.
I think it's Eleanor.
The fat one is wicked hot. Anyways, so I've always had the Chipmunks soundtrack, the Chipmunks Adventure soundtrack, and recently I downloaded the Chipmunks soundtrack for the new movie. And they actually released a second soundtrack for some reason from the new movie as well.
From the live action animated one?
With Jason Lee, which is horrible. I've seen it now. I only watched it like recently. Horrible. Okay. And he's horrible in it.
Got it.
And he's great usually. Anyways.
He's a Scientologist?
Yeah, I did know that.
Okay.
I did know that. It's weird. So was Shannon Doherty, I think. No, she's not. She was making fun of him being one by accident.
Got it.
She was making fun of Scientologists in general, and he was around being like, whoa, you should come down.
Yes.
Anyways, and they included some older songs on the new Chipmunks soundtrack. The original Chipmunks, not the original, but the 1980s Chipmunks cartoon TV show.
Right.
Where it's like, watch out, because here we come. Yeah, there's that one. And then there's the Time Warp, which must have come out probably later on. I'd say late 90s with one of those random offshoots. They have like the Chipmunks Meet Frankenstein, for real.
Right.
And they did the Time Warp, and it's like awesome. Like awesome.
Interesting.
Harmonies are awesome. They do all the parts have double bass in them, like on the drums.
Really?
And they're awesome. Like it's incredible. Download the Time Warp by the Chipmunks and be blown away. I'm not even kidding. I'm telling you, it's great.
All right. Honorable mention for me on that was Girl Talk.
Okay.
Girl Talk is one guy, mashup DJ.
My personal friend, Greg.
Yes.
Not really my personal friend, but he does. He's a good guy. He's a really good guy.
He's friends with the band Senior Discount, which you front.
That's right.
And a friend gave me the CD, and I was like, okay, like I didn't know what to expect. I honestly thought it was like a girl punk band.
Right, and that's what I thought,
and then I listened to it, and I'm like, this is not what I would seek out on my own.
Right.
And then Senior Discount opened for Girl Talk a couple months ago, and just the energy in the live show was fantastic. And then I honestly thought that he was up there like he just pressed play on his iPod and then danced around with all the kids, and I'm like, he's genius.
Yes.
But it turns out that he has all these samples playing at the same time, and he just unmutes the ones that go together as they go together
on his laptop.
and doesn't stop. So it's basically like an hour to an hour and a half of just sampled music that goes together.
Right, and his samples are extremely short, so each one of his songs might encompass, like a 5-minute song might encompass 30 different samples.
Right.
So it is very interesting. It's really cool. Time Magazine named that album, his new one, as the 4th out of their top 10 of 2008.
Interesting.
Time Magazine.
I should also mention that
which is like,
my close personal friend Stephen King rated Girl Talk very highly as well.
That's absolutely true as well.
Yes.
All right, so favorite song I rediscovered.
Yes.
My answer for this is so gay, but keep going.
Great. Really, gayer than Time Warp by the Chipmunks?
Oh, yes.
Okay. The band The Lawrence Arms, I downloaded their CD, The Greatest Story Ever Told, And then when I searched my iTunes by band, because I forgot the name, The Greatest Story Ever Told, I found a CD from a compilation, a song from a compilation, a Lawrence Arms song called Presenting, The Dancing Machine. And then there's some Italian afterwards by the Lawrence Arms. And it's a song that it really takes one approach through like 90% of the song, and then the last 10% of the song is very different.
Yeah.
And I would say beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wish there were more of it. But it's one that I listen to over and over and over again because it's a short song, a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's one that I'm like, oh, this is great.
Me and Brad actually, I believe I'm the one that told Brad to download The Greatest Story Ever Told, and he was already familiar with this specific song.
Right.
Off one of the compilations from Fat Wreck, and we had the exact same critique of the song.
Right.
In that the final line, instead of being just one line, should have been like a big breakdown part. Like that should have lasted a little bit.
And there should have been an entire album based around those.
The fuck would you say and all that you do?
Yes,
yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and then
awesome.
I'm saving myself for something beautifully true, which is probably my virginity anthem.
Yes. By the way, I originally wanted to call this podcast "Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll."
Right.
But then I realized neither of us do drugs whatsoever.
Right.
We're not playing any music.
That's correct.
And you're a virgin.
Yes.
So I thought that it might be inappropriate and misleading.
Yes.
Tiny bit.
People would be like, "Wow, I'm interested in all three of those things." Oh, these guys are talking about chipmunks. All right. Favorite
and how
song.
the fat one is hot.
Favorite song you.
Just specifically, I don't think Theodore is hot. I think
right.
Fat Chipette
No,
is hot.
I got it.
She has. Yeah.
What's Simon's girlfriend's name? Jeanette,
which is an ugly name for an ugly Chipette.
I'm sure she's beautiful
the
on
other
the
two,
inside.
The other two are hot as hell.
I'm sure she's beautiful on the inside, Chuck.
She's
probably home crying right now.
Jeanette?
Chuck called me ugly.
The fat one is probably calling the police.
I think this guy's gonna molest me.
She's like, I don't know how old they're supposed to be. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Right. Favorite song I rediscovered. Help Me by Alkaline Trio. I believe that song came out this year. And then I listened to the album when it first, they released 3 songs from it.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, these songs are okay. Wasn't too big on the single.
Right.
And then a couple months later, way after the album came out, right before we went to go see them, I started listening.
Which was sometime in July
right.
10th or 11th or 12th.
Right. I just started listening to that song, and I think Help Me was an awesome, fitting single for them.
Right.
It wasn't just like, okay, excuse me, I'm burping. A long time ago, Alkaline Trio did a song called Stupid Kid,
right,
which is a pretty good song.
Yes.
Not one of their best, and I don't think the best representation of their music.
Right.
But I feel like they did it because it was more poppy, or maybe the label just selected it because it was one of the poppiest songs they had. And I feel that Help Me is a really good demonstration of what Alkaline Trio believe in as good music writing, and,
right,
and popular music writing,
right,
pop music, and it's just like one of my favorite new songs from a band that I've liked for a long time.
Makes sense.
So that's the song I rediscovered that also came out this year.
Nice. Favorite live band, I'll blatantly suck up. The live band that I've seen the most often is Senior Discount. Yes, plus Chuck mentioned me in a song, which really, I'll put this out to any bands that are listening. If you come through the Providence area and I'm at your show, you probably want to mention me in your song.
Yeah, if you want people to really like you,
really,
just mention Brad Rohr in a song.
Yes, and people will be all over it.
As long as it's in a positive way, of course.
Right.
Goes without saying.
Right.
Okay.
Not like Tom Wells, my chubby balding friend.
Right. Of course. Which I actually have worked into I'm Crazy.
Yes.
Now my chubby balding friend
yes.
sing.
No, I would say that the Senior Discount always brings a great energy to the stage, to the shows, even when the bar audience is not having it. So that's all I'll say about that.
Our worst show this year, Senior Discount's worst show was at Sizzlers, which is like a high-class restaurant / bar that kind of booked us for I don't know what reason. And we needed money, so we took it, and still need money. So
yes.
We didn't need. It's not past tense. And it was like, all the 35-year-old people who were jocks in high school were there watching a game while we played on a stage that was, smaller than the table that we're sitting at right now.
Right.
And they hated us, and I totally was digging on it. I loved it. I just love the energy and the tensity, tensity.
I got
the fact that it was tense. I loved it. It was great. So I want to thank those guys at the Sizzlers, especially Sizzle. We called them owner Sizzle because that's what we figured his name was.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Favorite live band, 2008. There's two people I wanted to pick.
Okay.
And then for favorite CD of the year, that artist won that. So I'm gonna go with NoFX.
Okay.
NoFX doesn't come to the New England area too often.
No.
I think the last time was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. They came to Worcester before this year, 2008, in Providence. And they're amazing. It's weird because they started out as like, we're a punk band. Fat Mike has all these weird quotes that are like, to be a punk band, it means that you're bad, but people actually like you.
Right.
Stuff like that. They're amazing musicians.
Right.
Their harmonies are awesome. Their show is awesome. They play multiple instruments. They're an amazing, energetic, talented band.
I would say "Don't Call Me White" is one of the things that got me into punk.
Absolutely, I think "Don't Call Me White" is my favorite punk rock song.
Right.
Because I think that it's political.
Right.
And I think that it has a real message, and that it's simple, and that there's just good songwriting there. NoFX is my live band of the year.
Nice.
Absolutely.
And then you'll talk more about your other live band of the year when we. All right.
Right.
Favorite CD. I have a hard time saying CD because I don't actually buy CDs anymore.
Right.
I download everything now from Amazon, by the way, which is DRM free.
Yes.
Unless iTunes wants to sponsor us, in which case I will heartily recommend iTunes.
Yes.
Favorite CD of the year for me was the Feel Good Record of the Year by No Use for a Name.
I heard that was great, by the way.
It is. On a flight to California for Christmas, I listened to the discs I had purchased, or the albums I had downloaded over the years, so I could kind of get an estimation of the strengths and weaknesses. And really, I just think it's, top to bottom, all the songs are good. There's definitely changes in tone, and has probably my favorite, newly released song of the year, the song "The Trumpet Player." It's very good, and I recommend you seek out the Feel Good Record of the Year. And I was in Taco Bell today when I also heard All the Small Things, and I heard Beautiful Beacon by Not a Surf off their album Lucky, and so I'm like, maybe I should re-listen to that. Maybe I didn't give that a chance, and yeah, it's good. The Glass Passenger by Jack's Mannequin is good. And the Gold Record by The Bouncing Souls, which I listened to for the first time this year, is good. But I think the Feel Good Record of the Year really just took the cake for me, as far as I'm concerned.
Little side note: Not a Surf released not a single, but a song on the Basketball soundtrack,
right? Which
was at the time released by Mojo. So they had Goldfinger, Real Big Fish on it,
right?
A lot of stuff. Real Big Fish was in the movie, and Not a Surf had a song called Tonight. I don't know if you know that song.
I don't. Or not by name, at least.
Right, and it's just an awesome song. I've never listened to anything else from them, but that song was awesome.
I would say their album, The Proximity Effect, which came out years ago, recommended to me by my good friend Hanson.
Your good friend Hanson?
Yes, the band. No, Hanson was a guy I improvised with in Chicago, and he's like, "No, pick it up, you won't be disappointed." And it took like 2 or 3 listens to kind of get into it, and it's one of my favorite music-based CDs. And I realized it's all music, but musically it's probably more complicated than one of my typical punk CDs.
Right, I agree.
So yeah, I would say if you're gonna check out Not a Surf, I would recommend The Proximity Effect.
I think I might check it out.
All right.
My CD of the year was Tom Gable with Heart Burns.
Interesting.
Did you listen to that CD?
I did not.
That CD came out. It's only like a 7-track CD. I'll be honest, I did expect all acoustic tracks, which I've loved the Against Me acoustic stuff.
Yes.
And Matt Skiba is on it.
Yes.
So I expected like a really good, not duet, but a song with Matt Skiba and Tom Gable, and they're such a different artist, but I feel like their core audience is very similar.
Right.
And I was a little disappointed because Matt Skiba all he has is backing vocals on one track. He says like 4 words in the whole song.
Nice.
But 8 words I should give him.
Yeah.
But the entire CD, awesome. There's there's probably, I think there's 7 tracks, and 5 of them are like awesome. The other 2 are pretty good too. I'm just not that big of a fan of them specifically, but 5 of the tracks are just so well written and so good.
Right.
And I feel that Tom Gable he reaches out and he can reach a lot more people. Like Arcello is one of my good friends.
Right.
He's into a lot of good punk rock and good pop punk stuff that I would send him, and I sent him 2 of the tracks and he really liked them from this CD. And then this is the other live thing. I went to go see Tom Gable.
Right.
Now, seeing Tom Gable was really crazy because it was in a room that held about 250 people. It was at the Space in Connecticut. And you got to think, Against Me's album this year went crazy.
Yes.
It was on Spin's top 10. It was on Spin's number 1.
They got radio play, in major market radio play.
it was in a lot of the top albums of the year,
right?
Like lists, and to see the lead singer of that band in a place with 200 people when he's standing 10 feet away from you was great, especially with the history that Against Me has. They've been touring for 10 years,
right?
So there's these diehard fans, and he played all the stuff from the album,
right?
And not all of it was acoustic, so it's a little different.
Yes.
As well as I'd say at least 10 Against Me songs that were from the acoustic CD that Against Me released, and it was one of the best performances I've ever been to in my life.
Interesting.
Awesome. Now, and the album Heartburns, absolutely awesome.
I'll make sure to check it out.
You should.
All right.
So you want to move on to video games?
I would love to.
This is the nerdy part of the podcast.
Yes.
Me and Brad are very big video game fans.
Ladies, you can probably fast forward.
Yes.
Favorite, now, both Chuck and I own the Wii, the PS3, and the 360.
Yes. We were originally going to show this, we'll call this podcast Rich White Males Who Have Never Known Hardship.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I like to play my video games on my 50-inch LCD plasma screen.
I like to play mine on my 42-inch plasma television. So,
yes.
Favorite Wii game of the year. And the more I think about it, I'm not sure it came out this year, but you know what? It's already written down. Super Mario Galaxy was a great game. Really, I think I played Super Mario Sunshine for the GameCube. It didn't really...
Wasn't a true sequel to Super Mario 64.
Did not really do it for me. Super Mario Galaxy was fantastic. Even, I got a little nauseous at first, I'm running around on big circles, or big spheres, and, but I got over it. It's a good game.
Yeah, see, I was excited. That's one of the reasons I got the Wii for Super Mario Galaxy. And I'll be honest, I have not followed up. I have it at my house. I haven't followed up and played it yet. But that is one of the games I'm staunchly supporting. So I am going to play all the way through.
Okay.
Favorite Wii game of the year for me. I'm going to burp off the mic.
Nice.
That was such a weird burp. I can't wait to hear that. All right. Tie. One of them was a WiiWare game.
Okay.
Tetris Party.
Yes.
Awesome. You can play Tetris with more than one person on the same screen, together or against 4 people. It's all different modes. Awesome. I've always loved Tetris, and this game did not disappoint.
Right.
The actual Wii game, Mario Kart.
Okay.
I you know what I mean? It wasn't. I'm not gonna say that it added so much to that genre or that type of game.
Right.
But I've always loved Mario Kart, and I feel like they are bringing something at least a little bit new to the table with every single one, and I really enjoy it.
It's one that eventually my brother and I will probably try and play online.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
Not that we're really online buddies. Favorite PS3 game of the year for me was Metal Gear Solid 4. Mm-hmm. Even if the cutscenes were ridiculously long, the gameplay was a lot of fun and very similar to others in the series. I'm terrible with stealth. I'm very much a run and gunner, so I really had to refocus. And then about halfway through, I'm like, I'm not supposed to kill the enemy soldiers. I don't want to say you lose points, but you get more bonus points if you get through the game without killing anyone.
Right.
And just shoot tranquilizer darts. Whoops.
Whoopsie daisy.
Whoops. My bad. Sorry, enemy soldiers.
My favorite PS3 game of the year, not going to surprise Brad.
Nope.
I'll be honest, I'm not that well versed in PS3 games.
Right.
Probably because I find that the 360 counterparts are a little bit cheaper.
Yep.
And because, I've always had Nintendo when it was Nintendo versus Sega.
Right.
Then I got the Xbox, never had the PS2.
Right.
So I usually go, even when Bully came out, I believe was a PS2 only title, and then was ported to Xbox 360. Right. I didn't like Bully, by the way. Favorite PS3 game of the year? Buzz Trivia.
Yep.
I love the Buzz series. Is awesome. I think it's seriously one of the best multiplayer, in terms of replay value games that has come out in a long time.
And I would say the only thing that kept it off my favorite PS3 game, because you often have people over to play it with, and me, because I'm a what's the word I'm looking for? Misanthrope. I usually just hang out by myself in my apartment. I don't always like to have my RAs there. There's boundary issues. So
Brad's a complicated fellow.
I really am. So I stuck with a one-player game. But yeah, I can definitely see Buzz Trivia.
Yes, absolutely.
Favorite 360 game of the year that didn't win overall game of the year, which I realize is a very complicated title.
Yes.
Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
Okay.
I played a lot of it online. With people I've never met in real life.
Right.
The same people, I guess. Yeah. Right. And it, it's cooperative, and we're shooting terrorists, and again, I'm a run and gunner, and this game requires a lot of cover use, so I tend to just throw grenades, which doesn't work that well. But Really just a fun game to play. Like the storyline, not the best in the world, especially because it was a continuation of the one from Rainbow Six Vegas. But just all the time I spent playing this multiplayer online was fantastic. By the way, the online component, why I prefer the 360 to the PS3.
Yeah, that's also a big deal.
Yeah.
Favorite 360 game of the year? I didn't win overall game of the year. Well, for me, was Left 4 Dead.
Oh.
I thought Left 4 Dead was so well put together and such a different game and such a new, like, fast-moving cooperative game. I love co-op games, and it just, like, the hype was really big. I think I've been waiting for it since last February.
Right.
And it came out this year in November.
And that's the zombie shooting game.
Right, the first-person shooter that's, like, all about having a team of 4.
Right.
And the AI was designed differently than any previous game.
Right.
Where it wasn't location-based. It was just they were measuring how much action was going on, and they keep it crazy the entire time.
Right.
So I loved it. Me and Sousa are halfway through. We haven't finished it yet, but it's awesome.
Game I didn't understand all the hype. Smash Brothers Brawl.
That was my pick as well.
Because, like, I never played Melee or any of the other ones.
Right.
Because I didn't get it. Like,
right.
and then I had to read the instruction manual for Smash Brothers Brawl to be like, oh, that's how you lose a fight. Like, you get smashed off the screen. Oh.
Yes.
And, I played through the single-player mode and loved it. I'm like, oh, this is a great little action-adventure game. But as far as, like, the online stuff didn't work.
Right.
It was always very laggy.
Yeah,
if it worked at all.
Yeah.
And again, misanthrope, so I don't play it with other people. So
I'm gonna stick with you with Smash Brothers Brawl.
Thank you.
And then not add any comments. I think you got everything.
Thank you.
I did add this thing to it. I think I told you this. I feel like I don't know if I told you all these things.
Yeah.
Favorite non-sandbox third-person game.
Now, because we added a 13th month of the year and made it a Baker's year,
yes.
I feel perfectly justified in adding Fable 2 to the list, which I didn't play until early on in January. I loved Fable 2,
okay.
And I wish I had gotten it before I wrote my original Brammies. But there's so much you can do in the game. It's not a perfect game. But I love the combat. I love, it's you can buy properties, you can marry a prostitute, as I did. Rest in peace, Tara the whore. I never cheated.
I told you that Susan knew a girl named Tara the whore.
Yes.
That's what I called her because she was a whore.
Right.
But she's cute.
Right. Well, so was my wife, Tara the whore.
Right.
But I had unprotected sex with her in the game twice, and we have 2 kids to prove it. The kids were also murdered. But no. Because I had unprotected...
Who murdered them?
The bad guy in the game.
Oh.
And you have an option at the end of the game. You can bring back all the workers who died. You can bring back your family, or you can get money.
And you picked money.
No. I brought back all the workers. I was noble.
Why did you pick out your family?
Because I was extra noble the first time through.
Okay.
And and it's an achievement, like the needs of the many, the needs of the few, or the needs of one. And so I got the needs of the many because I brought back all these people who had died. But if you have, even if the whore is your wife, if you have unprotected sex in the game with a whore, you will get an STD in the game. And so it's like, number of times had unprotected sex, 2. Number of STDs gotten, 2. I'm like, oh, she's my wife.
Why did they include that?
I don't know.
All right.
It hurt my feelings.
My favorite non-sandbox third person was Spider-Man Web of Shadows, which was awesome. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't really play all the way through it yet. But it's really well put together. Better than the other Spider-Man games and different. Honorable mentions. Star Wars Force Unleashed, thought was pretty good.
Okay.
Iron Man, thought the controls were awesome.
All right.
Basically got to a level that was wicked hard, and I could not beat it.
Right.
And I feel like I'm lacking somehow in this. It's not there. That's not the game being unfairly hard. It's me being bad.
Right.
And Gears of War 2.
Right.
Which I'm playing through with my girlfriend right now. And because I no longer have a modded 360.
Right.
I have to wait until I get the legitimate
It's a statute of limitations on that. Let's hope it's less than several months.
Yes.
I actually played through it with my buddy, who I have met in real life. Yes. We played through it once online, and now I'm playing through it with Sousa, and we're I'd say about halfway through. Just playing for an hour or so on Wednesday night. So
it's a good game.
Yeah,
it's hard. Keeps you on your toes.
Yes. Favorite music game?
Yes, I wanted to talk to you about this. You think Rock Band 2 is better than Guitar Hero World Tour?
I do.
Okay. And I'd like to hear... you want me to go first? Or do you want you to go first?
You can go first. I feel like I've gone first a lot this time.
Okay. The reason I think Guitar Hero World Tour
mm-hmm.
I won't even say that Guitar Hero World Tour specifically is better than Rock Band 2. I'd say the Guitar Hero series is better than the Rock Band series. Now, here's why I think that.
Okay.
I like the design of the Guitar Hero games better than the Rock Band games.
Interesting.
I think the Rock Band games look very dark, and they kind of have one tone to them, while I feel like Guitar Hero kind of encompasses a lot of different styles of rock and roll music. They have the punk rock guy and the hard rock guy, and they have bluesy stuff.
Right.
I just feel like the overall design is brighter, easier to understand, makes more sense to me. It just seems more straightforward.
Okay.
The song list, to be honest, I really have enjoyed a lot of the song lists on Guitar Hero, and I'll say that I don't think Rock Band has had quite the amount of games to really topple that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Guitar Hero's had 6 entries, I guess.
6
with Rock the 80s. Yeah.
Yep. And Rock the 80s, although it was not a big difference from Guitar Hero 2, I love the track listing.
Oh yeah.
I loved a lot of the songs on it. So there's that, and I feel like a lot of the playing through is a lot more fun. All the cutscenes are good, all the van stuff, all the actually making a story out of it.
Because there are actual cutscenes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's more fun. It's more, it's more endearing, I'd say.
Okay.
I just like the entire series. I like the unlockable characters.
Right.
It just seems like there's a lot more time put into the game.
Okay.
Overall, and I will say one thing that Rock Band clearly has over Guitar Hero is the fact that you just have to buy DLC content, downloadable content, one time. It appears in all your games.
Yes.
And if you have Rock Band 2 and 1 and, AC/DC or Track Pack or whatever, it all appears in one library. So you put one game in and it has all the songs.
Yes.
And that is a big deal.
And I would say that might be the deal breaker for me because instead of the set list from Guitar Hero World Tour, which, I don't need 3 songs by Tool, especially when none of them are sober.
Yeah.
Because that would be the song by Tool that I enjoy.
Right.
I think that overall the songs that have come out for Rock Band, even the ones that have come out as DLC, are songs that I enjoy more. I would rather play through the Motley Crue Dr. Feelgood album than I would the new Metallica album, which I'm told is excellent, but isn't really something I'm actively seeking out.
Right.
So I think there are songs that come out I think Miranda Cosgrove, who may have been the manager in School of Rock. Is that her?
Oh, maybe.
I feel like I know her name from a kids show, but she has downloadable content, and I think last year for Rock Band 1 they released the closing track from the game Portal as DLC, as free DLC, and I just think the song listing for Rock Band really pushes it over the top. In addition, because I had so much time with Rock Band 1 with a drum kit, I'm so much more used to the feel of those drums than I am to Guitar Hero. Plus, on my Guitar Hero drums, the red pad does not work 100% of the time, which makes it very difficult to drum, as drumming is something that requires
all the drums.
Right, all of the drums. So
I will say, in response to your drums, I got Rock Band 2 drums first before I got any Guitar Hero drums. Then I got Guitar Hero drums, and the Guitar Hero drums feel more like real drums, and they make more sense because you have 3 of them, one in the center, then one on each side of you, kind of like a floor tom, a regular tom, and then 2 cymbals, where the Rock Band drums are 4 across, which is kind of weird. But I can definitely see how you just would get used to
and
the Rock Band drums over the Guitar Hero drums.
And I did recently purchase the Rock Band 2 drums and the cymbal expansion kit, so it's possible that will make it more likely that I can play the Guitar Hero drums. So.
Right. That's true.
But that's, it really comes down to the music on the game.
And I do agree that, I think Guitar Hero will probably soon do the thing where they put all their tracks available on one library. Right. And I think the reason they haven't is if you think about Guitar Hero 1 through 3, which encompasses 5 games, or through Aerosmith, I should say. It's 5 games. All those were pre-Rock Band, which means that they only had stuff for guitar / bass. So putting them in Guitar Hero World Tour would be a little bit weird to just mix them right in.
Right.
So I kind of understand why they've kept it separate until now.
Yeah. It makes sense.
But still, I think that is a big thing that Rock Band has over Guitar Hero in general.
Favorite game of the year.
Okay.
For me, it was Rock Band 2. I spent a lot of time going through different challenges, different set lists, singing falsetto because that's the only way I have any pitch control. Yes. With the exception, I should add, of the song Alive by Pearl Jam because I've listened to it so many times.
You got it down?
I've got it down. Good. And then I think the Foo Fighters song, and I don't remember which Foo Fighters song is on there, but that's another one that I
Everlong?
Yeah, I think so. I've recently learned that I can sing that non-falsetto, which makes me feel More like a man.
Watch him as he goes. Does he do it?
Pretty much.
Good. My favorite game of the year.
Wait. Honorable mention, Buzz Trivia Series.
All right. That's a great mention.
Yes.
Favorite game of the year, Chuck Staten. Saints Row 2.
Ooh, big surprise.
Dude, so many people thought Saints Row 2 was a bad game, and so many people thought it was an amazing game.
Right.
My honorable mention is GTA 4.
Okay.
Now, both games are similar in the original style sandbox third-person shooters, but such different takes on it. Saints Row is very cartoonish.
Right.
It's I don't want to say it's easier, but it's easier to get more different types of weapons.
Right.
The game is much more action-packed, but you got to think of GTA 4 as if kind of like Martin Scorsese directed a video game.
Right.
It's a lot slower. There's a lot less action, but there's more story.
And Saints Row 2 is like if Mick G directed Wait a minute. Mick G probably has.
It's like if Michael Bay did.
There we go.
Which is saying something good.
Right.
The Rock was an amazing movie. And I just love Saints Row 2. I got really bored in GTA 4 with taking girls on dates and bowling.
Yes.
Much like I do in real life.
Yes.
Besides the dates. Anyways, Saints Row 2 was a lot more fun. You could go be a bouncer. You could go, all the stuff was action-packed. The entire game was, seriously, 50 hours straight. And that's if you're if you're a good gamer of gameplay.
Yeah.
Which is a lot. It's a lot for your money. And, my cousin Patrick actually got me the game for, $4 on eBay.
Nice.
So, it was awesome. I loved it. It's my favorite game of the year. Honorable mention, like I said, GTA 4.
Nice. On to television. Ladies, you can resume listening now.
Yes.
For me, the show that would get all of the awards, so I didn't want to keep it in the running, was Lost. Is Lost.
Okay. This is where you're going to find a difference between me and Brad.
Yes. I think Lost, more than any other show, has the gotta factor, as in I gotta keep watching. I gotta see it this week. I gotta ditch my friends so I can go home and watch it on TiVo so I can talk about it tomorrow.
Right.
I have nothing but positive things to say about that show.
I just got into Lost. I'm 5 episodes in.
Right.
I know I'm 4 years behind everyone else.
That's all right.
But the show is definitely extremely well done, and it's a crazy, to me, unique approach to dramatic television.
Right.
And dramatic television has never really drawn me in before.
Right.
Not that I wouldn't appreciate something like The Wire or 24.
Right.
But it's just never gotten so to the point where I'm I want to be a part of this.
I should add that I've never seen The Wire and I've never watched Battlestar Galactica. So and those are two shows that people swear by. So
exactly. And The Lost is something I just wanted to be a part of, and I really like it. I didn't just call it The Lost. I just kind of stuttered. 5 episodes in, really into it, really believing in it. And my show that would get all the awards that I'm taking out, Paradise Hotel 2.
Oh, gee.
Because I'll be honest, I'm not into a lot of new television. Shows I want to get into, The Office, 30 Rock, How I Met Your Mother, Brad always swears by it.
Yes.
Lost, which I am getting into. Arrested Development, I never got into. I'm 3 episodes into that right now.
Right.
Couple different shows. You know what? The Chris Rock show, I really want to watch. I haven't watched that. But what I do tend to watch is some reality television, which I really appreciate. I wrote a 3-page list of reasons why I like it. It's not just a list of reasons, it's a whole essay about it and about my belief system behind reality television. But Paradise Hotel 2.
Maybe now would be a good time to mention that there's a reality television show on MTV called Nitro Circus.
That looks ridiculous.
That everybody should check out.
Everyone should definitely watch Nitro Circus. It starts airing on Sundays on MTV, February 8th.
But, MTV will replay it 160 times throughout the week.
I think it's actually 13 times. And nice. Nitro Circus previously had done a 6 DVD series that I haven't watched yet. All I've seen is seriously 3-minute promos for it and a 2-hour documentary on Travis Pastrana, the lead guy from it, and it looks amazing. I'm gonna blindly promote it right now.
Absolutely.
With Brad.
We will put our reputations on the line
to a show that airs soon.
Yes.
But Paradise Hotel 2, one of the stupidest reality shows.
Right.
And I think that's why it's on my list, is because it still drew me in somehow. Me and Sousa every Tuesday for this show ran for 3 months.
Right.
They usually air for 8 episodes.
Right.
This one was probably
12.
More like
12 or 13.
12 yeah, exactly. With constant people changing, and it was basically one of those love, sexy seduction ones.
Right.
And it was just awesome. I got totally into it.
Right.
At one point, an actual couple came out of it.
Right.
And this girl came in and tore them apart, threw the girl home, and she had to go away. They were in Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Terrible.
And it was I was crying at this in the middle of the season. So Paradise Hotel, you like too? Hell yeah, so good.
Seek it out. I didn't want to divide mine into comedies and dramas and stuff, so I just did favorite half-hour show and favorite hour show.
Okay.
Favorite half-hour show for me was 30 Rock. For me, like it was very close because I do watch, I do watch more television than Chuck, but just. It's not just Tina Fey, it's not just Alec Baldwin. Both of them are fantastic, but Tracy Morgan, Jane Krakowski, my close personal friend Jack McBrayer. We totally met at a bar. I have a picture to prove it. But just little jokes that are repeated. Like one little thing from season 1, the movie was either Urban Ferber or The Rural Juror.
Yeah, The Rural Juror
was a joke. And then in season 3, which they're currently doing, like they show a character reading the book, The Rural Juror. And there's no attention drawn to it. It's just kind of there, and it rewards the smart and loyal viewer.
Right.
Which I am at least half of those things.
Yes.
Honorable mentions for this are How I Met Your Mother and The Office, both fantastic half-hour-long comedies.
Right, which I previously said I have to get into.
Yes.
Favorite half hour of the show? I'll be honest. I think that Family Guy has gotten better and better since it came back.
Interesting.
For season 4. Family Guy season 1 through 3, everyone finds to be very historic and like a big deal.
Right.
I think all the post cancellation episodes are worlds worlds apart in how well they're produced. I think that Family Guy is getting better and better.
Got it.
Simpsons bums me out. It should be in my honorable mentions, but in the past 3 or 4 years, I have not been interested. I just don't find it to be.
It's changed. It's changed so much from what it used to be.
That's the thing is now every episode is the same. It's just crazy the whole time, and the humor is weird.
Yeah, there's not a lot of heart in that, and I talked about that with movies, but it's important to have heart in an episode.
Exactly. Honorable mentions for
me. Heart the band. I'd like to hear Barracuda more often on The Simpsons.
That's what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah. Honorable mentions for me for favorite half-hour show. NoFX Backstage Pass, which I don't think you've ever watched.
No.
Do you know about it?
No.
NoFX Backstage Pass is NoFX used to tour in the 80s, and it was dangerous. Now there's GPSs and laptops and cell phones. Right. No one ever gets lost. Nothing ever bad happens.
Right.
They wanted to tour dangerously again, so they went to all the different countries and did a tour.
Wow.
And they wanted to record it to do a DVD, and Fuse said, let's just make 8 episodes of it and do a TV series. And it's them in all these countries. They get they have to be in some countries they have to sneak out of the venue in these trucks with covers on them because the police are coming to shut it down.
Wow.
They sell out venues that hold 10,000 people in China that they haven't been in 10 years.
Wow.
The show was amazing. I could not believe it. It was so well done, and it was just one of the best documentary shows I've ever seen in my life. I can't wait till it comes out on DVD. Final honorable mention is Flight of the Conchords.
All right.
Which is I love season 1. Season 2 has been a little shaky, but the type of humor they have and their deadpan stuff is awesome.
It's again when it gives me a chance to try out my New Zealand accent, which the only word I can say is Brit.
Yeah, Brit.
That's all I can say.
Good job.
Favorite hour-long show. This was a tough one to decide, but the show Chuck really balances comedy, action, and drama. And there's a continuing story it's between Chuck and the blonde girl. And people think she's phenomenally hot. I think she's hot, but I'm not going to be she doesn't give me butterflies.
Right.
And so it was close between this and other shows, but they brought in Reginald VelJohnson, who not only played the dad on Family Matters, but also
amazingly
Sergeant Al Powell in Die Hard 1, and then he has a cameo in Die Hard 2. And so they brought him in for
Die Hard Vendetta for GameCube, which is true.
I did not know that. They brought Reginald VelJohnson in for an episode of Chuck, a hostage episode, and he plays Sergeant Al Powell of the Burbank Police. And it's if the dialogue is not straight from Die Hard, it's so heavily influenced by Die Hard. Right. He's eating a Twinkie and just all these little things, how you doing in there, partner? And for me, that kind of meta joke worked really well. Honorable mentions for this would be the show Life, which is again has a running subplot and kind of a thing of the week. And I'm drawing a blank on the author's name right now, although he was Richard Winters in Band of Brothers.
Okay.
He's one of my favorite television actors. The show Psych on USA, again, it's funny, and it works as a mystery show. And then the recently canceled, I think, Eli Stone, about the lawyer who got visions from God, and so worked on different trials. And I just thought it was a much different show because a lot of shows are like, oh, we don't want to mention God in any context, much less to have somebody as a prophet, much less to have a lawyer as a prophet.
Yes.
A little bit more on Eli Stone later.
My favorite hour-long show. Now, I think this show is really only like 40 minutes long.
Close enough.
It aired on IFC, I believe.
Right.
I just got into it this year, Dinner for Five.
All right.
With Jon Favreau. I cannot swear enough by this show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time.
Right.
I found it to be so interesting and so well done. I love Jon Favreau. Most of the people that he had on, I love too. Like almost all of them. Just a great show. It's a reality show where he kind of interviews 4 people, but they all just sit down for dinner from all different walks of entertainment. You know, it's musicians, comedians, filmmakers. Honorable mentions: Lost, like we already talked about, and Celebrity Rehab Season 2. We're actually on Celebrity Rehab Season 3 right now, I believe. Sober House. But Season 2 ended, I think, the second to last week of December.
Right.
And Season 2 was just great. I love Dr. Drew. Celebrity Rehab is one of my favorite reality series.
Right.
There you go.
All right. Favorite actress? For me, it's Julie Gonzalo on Eli Stone. She's been in other things, some of which I think she played Amber in the movie Dodgeball. Like she was the cheerleader that Justin Long, had a crush on. Yes. And but her character, she's a very altruistic character who is a lawyer and who is beautiful. And I'm like, so she's smart, beautiful, and kind. I didn't have a chance.
Right.
Julie Gonzalo, I would like to give you your award personally.
For favorite actress for me,
that sounded much creepier than I intended it to.
Yeah, that's why
I meant I would like to take you out for pizza.
Yes,
that's all.
Brad's Brammy, by the way, is simply his penis.
What?
I'd like to give you my award personally.
That's not true.
Favorite actress for me, I really, really want to get into 30 Rock. I've watched a couple episodes, and I really like the ideas behind it, and I really like the way they shoot it and everything. So I'm gonna go with Tina Fey.
All right.
Even though I'm not a staunch fan of 30 Rock yet because I haven't seen so much of it, but it's really impressed me so far. So
nice. Favorite actor? I'll stick with 30 Rock and say Alec Baldwin. I never was a big Alec Baldwin fan. I enjoyed making fun of him with the rest of the world when Team America came out.
Right.
And didn't know a lot about him, and then he went on 30 Rock, and he is such a funny guy.
Yeah.
There's one scene, I think it's from season 2, where he plays several different black, kind of stereotypical characters.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious and ridiculous, and I'm pretty sure he won either a Golden Globe or an Emmy, and he really deserves all the awards.
You know what's weird? I have an opposite answer.
Interesting.
Alec Baldwin. And not because I've seen him a few times in 30 Rock, but because I think that everything he's done, especially with television, has been great.
Right.
He was one of the main voices on the Clerks cartoon.
Didn't know that.
Which he was Leonardo.
Okay.
And he was he's always awesome. I love him in every comedy he's done. Even in My Best Friend's Girl with Dane Cook, which was not very good.
Right.
He was good in it.
Right.
I feel like Alec Baldwin is one of my favorite older comedians. Where it's not even comedian because he's a serious actor too. You know what I mean? So I just think he's awesome. I just think he's really good.
All right. Favorite reality show? For me, it's Celebrity Rehab. I did not watch season 1, but when I see Jeff Conaway struggle through back issues, and I think about I had back problems in my early 20s, and just knowing not exactly what he's going through because you can never know when somebody else defines pain, but remembering when I had similar feelings, and when I see Amber Smith.
Who you have a big crush on.
I really do.
Yeah.
I realize that she has problems that she's working through. But when
prostitution problems.
Yes, when she works through those problems, I would take her out for pizza as well.
That's the most romantic thing you think of?
Yeah, pretty much. I don't have a lot of dating experience. Mostly just pizza related.
I'm saying this with a mouthful of cookie.
Yes.
My favorite reality show of the moment, Tool Academy on VH1.
Really?
Tool Academy is crazy. Every week, it's these horrible men kind of proving themselves to either try hard or fail completely at showing how much they care for their girlfriends. Every week, it is heartbreaking and incredibly dramatic, and I'm in disbelief every time you watch it.
I think if it weren't named Tool Academy, I'd be more into it, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. You're not a big fan of Tools in general.
I'm finishing some cookie. Favorite sports moment?
Yes.
For me, it was Michael Phelps and his 8 gold medals. I don't really care about swimming.
Right.
I don't know that there are a lot of people who do.
Wow. That's a blow to Michael Phelps.
But during the Olympics, we all get jingoistic and like, yeah, America. And to see him set, I realize it's sports history, which isn't really the same as world history.
Right.
But to see him go through that and how dramatic several of the races were.
Yeah.
It was some really interesting stuff. He's been in the news because he, smoked from a marijuana pipe, wink, wink, but we don't, it was never said what he was smoking out of the marijuana pipe. And
right.
he has apologized and, been a lot more straightforward than a lot of other athletes have been. But I think he just got suspended by U.S. Swimming, which, hey, he's the best swimmer ever, and we just suspended him.
Yeah.
But that, I don't really think it detracts from his performance last August.
Right. I agree.
However, Michael Phelps on SNL, not my favorite comedy moment of the year.
I didn't see it. Awful.
It was not Michael Jordan on SNL.
Or The Rock on SNL. The Rock killed on SNL.
Yes, he did.
My favorite sports moment of the year. I'm not a big sports guy, so I put a sports moment that happened in my personal life.
Nice.
Tom Wells, my lead guitarist.
Right.
He considers changing the channel without the use of a remote with sport. And he did that twice this year. So
wow.
he's the MVP to me.
MVP.
Most valuable, not player, something else with a P. I don't know what though. Most valuable prick. Let's just say prick.
All right. You can definitely say that. Least favorite moment of the year,
on TV.
On TV. Which seems like an odd one to end with, so maybe I better also think of a most favorite moment of the year.
I think that just least favorite is fine.
All right, we'll end with that. For me, it was on How I Met Your Mother. The main character, Ted, gets left at the altar by Stella. That's a spoiler. Played by Sarah Chalke. And it killed me because I see a lot of similarities between Ted and me in that we're I think the same age in the show. And he's always been one who's like, yes, I want commitment in a relationship. And I'm one who's like, I want commitment before I agree to be in a relationship.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
What's your name? Would you like to be engaged then? Would you like to go on a date? So to see that happen to him, to see a character I identify with so much crushed so thoroughly was my least favorite moment of the year, television-wise.
My least favorite moment of the year on television was when Christy Joe got expelled on Rock of Love Charm School.
All right.
She's the prettiest one, and she was the least crappy. Everyone else was really bitchy and awful, and she just deserved the money. Can you
just say real quick about Lacey from Rock of Love Charm School?
I hate Lacey.
There we go.
Lacey is an awful bitch.
Didn't you? If it was a choice between punching her or Darth Vader in the face,
yes, it'd be Lacey. See, that's my argument for reality television. These characters really exist,
and it's appalling.
I'm trying to get that article published in the magazine I'm going to work for. I will see if they'll do it.
In the Star Wars monthly newsletter.
Yeah, as a vote for Darth Vader.
Lacey, worse than the Emperor?
This is the final category of the Brammies and the Chammies.
Yes.
And we're 57 minutes in. I don't care.
We have 2 final categories.
What are they?
Are we doing other or self?
Oh, I thought other and me were kind of together.
All right, we'll do them all. Boy, we're going to have to...
Well, other is kind of short.
All right. Other favorite news story, Barack Obama's election. I feel like we've talked enough about pop culture. We don't need to cover politics.
Yeah, I think that...
We've hit the important things.
Yeah, Christy Joe not getting expelled.
Yes,
I'm behind. That's my favorite news story of the year, too, is Barack Obama's election.
Least favorite personality, Alaska Governor Sarah Palin. Although I did have a dream recently where she agreed to sponsor my improv group, The Bit Players.
That's weird. Why?
I don't know.
My least favorite personality and other was anyone on the show TMZ. I cannot believe that show exists.
That's an excellent point.
Yes.
Favorite sports story other than anything involving the Chicago Bears?
I already said mine about Tom.
Right.
What's yours?
The Olympics.
Of course.
Just the opening ceremony and USA and all that good stuff. Least favorite sports story would be the Chicago Bears missed the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Honorable mention for that would be Tom Wells finding the remote.
Yeah, I was going to say my least favorite sports story was Tom actually becoming MVP of the year. Also.
Nice. Favorite science story, the Large Hadron Collider didn't destroy the universe. They turned it on, they sent some particles at near light speed for a test lap, and then it broke.
Yes.
I feel really good about this.
My favorite science story was the G1 coming to fruition of 2008. Nice. The G1 is the best phone. It is the T-Mobile and Google's phone answer to the iPod. It's more like an iPod / Sidekick, and it beats the iPhone. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to say I still have a Razr. But one thing that bothers me when people are talking about old cell phones is they always refer to like the Zach Morris phone as like the worst cell phone ever.
Yeah.
And it really frustrates me because I feel like that's an overused cliche of a joke.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Say a briefcase phone or something.
Yeah.
You know, say a phone that's actually connected to the car. Don't say the Zach Morris phone.
Yeah, I agree with you.
On ourselves.
Yeah, this is the final Brammys category and Chammies. This is the ourselves category.
Yes. Biggest surprise in my life, someone actually married my brother.
Good, Brad.
I have a lot to say about my brother. I lived with him for 3 years and a couple extra months. And good luck to you.
My biggest surprise is that I graduated college this year.
Nice.
I started college in 2002. It's been a long journey. I think in the past 2 years, I've taken 2 classes total because of how many times Rhode Island College has screwed me over. And I am now writing an expose on the entire situation. And Bonnie McDonald, the head of the film department, if I see you, I'm going to shit in your mouth.
Wow.
Yeah. That's right.
That's our first S-bomb, huh?
Yes.
A food I wish I would have tried long ago. As Chuck and many of my other friends can attest, I am not.
He's a traditionalist.
I'm a traditionalist. I don't like condiments.
He likes plain things.
I really do. But especially with food. But because of this fear of new foods, I had never actually tried pizza rolls, Totino's Pizza Rolls, who would also be a great sponsor. And I think I tried them once before and like didn't wait long enough for them to cool and I burned my mouth and
that's what turned you off to them?
And I was like, oh no, these things are impossible to eat without burn. And then our good friend Susan Casey cooked some pizza rolls and I tried them and I was like, these are so good. Ditto with meatballs, which I had never really had before. Which I realize is a weird thing never to have before, but they're usually drenched in sauce and I'm afraid of sauce.
Of course.
They're delicious, and I would add diet root beer to the list.
For food I wish I would have tried long ago, diet root beer is also on my list. A&W diet root beer is really good. I can't believe it. My main food I wish I tried long ago, Lou Perella's spinach raviolis.
Really?
I really enjoyed the spinach raviolis. I thought they were amazing.
Lou Perella is an excellent cook.
That's true.
I would say ravioli, not necessarily for me.
Right.
I was like, Lou, why don't you put like mozzarella cheese and pepperoni in there? Because it would basically be a pizza roll.
Exactly, I was going to say.
Yes. Blessing in disguise for me was the job search. I looked for a job at several different schools, had opportunities at several different schools, and none of them worked out. And it was really tough to go through at the time. But it's worked out that I've really developed some positive things here and getting mentioned during a song at a senior discount concert.
And starting a podcast.
Yes.
There you go. That's 2 things.
Take that, other schools.
Yes. Blessing in disguise. At first, I had my girlfriend moving into my house, but I really didn't think that would be that bad of a thing. So it's not really a blessing in disguise.
No, it's just a blessing.
It's just a blessing, and it's nice to have someone there for back rubs and someone that, brings me coffee all the time whenever I want it.
And those are the 2 best things about her.
Yes, and her butt. Blessing in disguise. My number 1 thing is Kevin Silva quitting senior discount.
Really?
Easily the best thing that's ever happened to the band.
Now I like Kevin Silva.
No, you don't.
I have nothing bad to say about him other than when he walked out of a bar show, he had toilet paper stuck to his shoe, and I had never seen that on anyone in real life. Like I honestly thought that only happened in movies or on TV.
Nope, happens
to Kevin Silva.
Kevin Silva. Since then, so many great things have happened with the band. We've taken strides towards new amounts of professionalism and good shows and well playing that. At the time, it was like, oh my God, one of my best friends has completely lied to me for years. And turns out it was a great thing that happened. The band is doing very well. Alan Sousa fits in much, much better. It's a much more comfortable relationship, a much more true friendship between the 4 people doing this.
Okay.
And that's really important.
Fair enough. I put Best Bonanza.
Best Bonanza?
The Alan Sousa's Comedy Bonanza.
I agree. That's what I put for Best Bonanza as well.
Which we worked on and performed in over the summer.
Yes. I think that's enough about that.
Yes.
Because
I don't want to get
tooting our own horns.
I feel like we've given Sousa so much publicity today.
Yeah, too much.
Least pleasing development.
Yes.
I took my first ever sick day last April. And I'd always been one who's like, no, I'll tough it through. Sick days are great.
Yes.
You feel so much better after them. And I don't know why I had never done it before, because when I was a manager at Walgreens,
just push through.
Yeah, just push through, because I really couldn't. Like, who else is going to close the store or open the store? And so, now that I have a job that, if I miss a day, it's not the end of the world. I get worried that I will want to take them too often. Now, I should add, I've taken like maybe half a day another time and like 2 hours another time, like I had a headache or something. Yeah. And I have probably 30 sick days saved up.
Yes. So we're going to go on vacation? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Absolutely. My least pleasing development is White Noise Records in Providence is closing down, or has closed down by now.
Right.
That really bummed me out because they really believed in us, and we're having a good relationship with them. But we're still going to finish our EP that we were doing with them.
Right.
And all the people there that we met, Billy and Jay and Natalie, are all awesome new friendships that we've had within the band. And it's really cool to meet people who are actually interested in what you're doing and believe in you. So even though that was the least pleasing development, we did a lot of good came of it anyways.
Right. Most pleasing development, I lost 30 pounds and have kept it off. In May...
My most pleasing development is that you lost 30 pounds.
Thank you. I weighed 195 in May, and then got it down to about 163 at one point, and I'm about 165 now. Like, feel a lot better, usually have more energy, and I think understand more about like what I'm eating and when I'm eating it really affects my mood.
What happens to you, and how your body is in general.
Yes.
My most pleasing development this year, I feel like I experienced a lot of different new types of entertainment and a lot of different great types of entertainment, including like a lot of live things. I saw Spam a lot, which is great. Brad and many of our friends went to go see the Kevin Smith Q&A.
Right.
Senior Discount opened for Girl Talk, which was sold out at Lupo's.
Yes.
I saw the Tom Gable acoustic show. No Effects, like I said. Will Ferrell, Nick Swartzen, Zach Galifianakis, and Dimitri Martin together at URI, which was ridiculous. I saw Kevin James' stand-up. Senior Discount co-headlined a show with Leftover Crack, one of my favorite bands.
Right.
The Bad Liar reunion show. We saw Alkaline Trio together.
Yes.
I went to the Daily Show. I saw the Leston, Jake, and Goldfinger show. We did the Comedy Bonanza. It was a crazy year.
For entertainment.
In terms of, live entertainment especially, like a real energy. And I was really happy with how many things I got to experience.
Nice. Best purchase for me was a PlayStation 3, Buzz Trivia, and Metal Gear Solid 4, and alone would have been fine, but Blu-ray movies, I really like them.
Yes.
I don't know why. Maybe it's just I'm seeing these things in my mind and I'm justifying the extra money, but I really like Blu-ray, and I'm not quite a Blu-ray snob yet, but I'm getting there.
Right. I will say that I forgot to say for my honorable mention for most pleasing development is Senior Discount playing Lupo's 3 times in 2 months.
Nice.
That was ridiculous.
Yes.
For your Blu-ray comments, I will say I'm hoping I don't become a Blu-ray snob.
Right.
I'm staunchly standing behind the idea that right now I'm always going to be fine with Ace Ventura on DVD. I don't need it on Blu-ray.
Right.
And I'm hoping that that's going to stay my stance.
I would agree that most comedies, like action movies or animated movies, oddly enough, I'd like to get on Blu-ray.
Right.
However, like Step Brothers, I keep waiting to find it used on Blu-ray somewhere.
Right.
I can't explain it.
It's understandable.
And then best prediction for 2009, I had written down continued awesomeness, but I think that will take the form of this podcast. I'm really excited. We've got a couple in the books now.
I'm very excited too. My best purchase was I didn't get to say it yet.
Sorry.
Was fine. 2001 Chrysler Sebring convertible that I paid $500 more, even though it had 100,000 less miles than my previous car.
That is wonderful.
And my previous car was 7 years older. Honorable mention: my 50-inch high-def plasma TV.
Good.
Boy, why do we put best purchase in? What, like, we sound like such dicks.
Honestly, I don't know. But I think it's because I'm always very careful about my money.
As am I, as you'll find out throughout this podcast. Yes. We have a lot of...
I would say I'm thrifty like a Scot.
Yeah, you would say that. And also, my favorite Brad quote of the year.
Oh, fantastic.
Was, in quotes, I can't believe how attracted to 15-year-old girls I still am. That was it. You know, I can't believe how attracted to 15-year-old girls I still am.
Could you tell me what context I said that in?
The reason it was my favorite was probably because of how often it was said, and all the different events that it was said.
I did say it at so many high school volleyball games. That's not true. That's not true at all. You can't say somebody said something if they didn't say it.
When I was representing you in court, that was my favorite time that you said it.
Yeah. Your Honor, I cannot. my mom is listening. She probably gave up after the last 3 minutes of the first podcast.
I think I remember for Mother's Day you actually crossed that out of a card.
I did. I wrote instead of Happy Mother's Day. Yeah, it was a poem, and
cross that off.
I thought it would rhyme better if I talked about 15-year-old girls. What happened to making fun of Tom Wells?
Also, I noticed that whenever you order anything from Amazon, whenever it has that box, there's special comments, as you always write.
That's and most of my iTunes album reviews. This is how I feel about the Donna's album. I can't believe how attracted I am to 15-year-old girls. I never said that.
You constantly say it.
Chuck loves to do stuff like this to me. We were at his graduation party, and two different girls were there, probably ages 19 or 20.
Yes.
And they came up, and Chuck said to each of them,
at
two different occasions, "Hey, Brad just said your body was very curvaceous." So Brad said you've got a bodacious body.
No, that's not what I said. I said, I'm like, hey, what's going on? It was actually Shannon, my brother's girlfriend, and her friend. I'd be like, oh, hey, Shannon. Brad was just talking about how what I say.
You said either curvaceous or bodacious or both.
I think I said curvaceous.
Right. And I had not said that about either of the girls. And then that night we went out to eat, and he did it to the waitress, and I was like, that's not what I said. And he's like,
not what I said, which makes him sound so guilty.
Sound like I had said something very similar, but in fact I had not.
And then Brad paid with his credit card. On the back of the receipt he wrote, I can't believe how attracted to 15-year-old girls I still am.
That's how I signed the credit card. I wrote it on the front. All right. In this blazing flash of lies here, we will conclude the second episode edition of our podcast.
I hope everyone's enjoying it so far. Our 2008 Brammys and Chammies took up like 2 hours and 10 minutes,
which is 70 more minutes than we planned.
Yes, that's fine.
Thank you for listening. We will be back hopefully soon with a third edition,
probably a Valentine's Day edition,
possibly.
So,
and so thank you very much. Deuces.
Later.